Hooty hoo, all my stock market gamblers. Welcome today. Welcome back. It's March 5th. I hope you all had a great Easter weekend, but let's get started on the markets. The Dow Jones up 400 points already. NASDAQ up 200 points. Record high for the Dow, record high for the S&P. NASDAQ still catching up. Do I think we're going to continue? Yes, I think we're going higher, but there will be some backing and filling, but we're going to head higher. We're going to head much higher. Now, why are we going to head higher? Is it because of the $28 trillion in debt? Is it because 25% of the workforce isn't working? Is it because 10 million people aren't paying their mortgages? Why are we going higher? We're going higher for one reason only. We all know that reason. Because the Federal Reserve is going to print their way to prosperity. Now, I want to talk about this a little bit today. It's called the free lunch. Can we print our way to prosperity? Let me tell you a quick story. When I was a little boy, let's call it 9 or 10 years old, we had what was known as Hot Dog Day at school. Hot Dog Day at school happened every other Wednesday. You could bring 50, 75 cents, I think it was, and you could get a hot dog, Coca-Cola, and a bag of chips for, 50 cents. Okay, well, one day I went to school on Wednesday and I forgot my lunch money. Forgot my lunch money at home. Well, they had what was called the free lunch program. Now, I did not want to go on the free lunch program because I felt I was taking someone else's lunch. So I told the teacher I was going to go home for lunch. Now, anyways, when I was in school, which was like 100 years ago, you could actually walk home from the school at 9 or 10 years old and no one would steal you. Now you cannot walk home from school. The parents have to pick you up. You have to stay in school. So I did not want to take advantage of the free lunch program. Now, if I knew about financing back then, maybe I would have said I'd gladly pay you on Tuesday for a hamburger today, but I did not know about financing, so I just told them I was going to go home for lunch. So I walked home. Well, I didn't want to go home because then my mom would know I forgot my lunch money and she'd think I was a stupid kid. So what did I do? Well, I went and hung out in the local creek and I chased frogs and lizards. Well, my mom discovered the 50 cents laying on the counter that I didn't have my lunch money, so she drove it down to school. Well, the school couldn't find me. They told me I went home. Well, the search party started for me and they couldn't find me, but an hour later when lunchtime was over, I walked back to school thinking no problem. Well, they told me to go straight to the principal's office. Well, I got yelled at and was told never to do that again, but I did get my hot dog, my Coca-Cola, and my bag of chips. The point is, even as a 9 and 10-year-old, I knew not to take advantage of the free lunch program because that was someone else's free lunch. There was a stigma if you took advantage of the free lunch program. You were one of the poor kids. They couldn't afford the lunch. There was a stigma attached to it. Now, today we have a free lunch in the federal government. It's called stimulus package. It's called PPP loans. It's called unemployment insurance benefits. There's a free lunch out there, and there is a stigma attached again, except the stigma is the opposite that it was when I was 9 or 10. It had common sense. The stigma today is if you don't take the money, you are a fool. You are a fool. Now, I'm a real estate broker, and I could get PPP money. I could go out and apply for the PPP loan. Many of my fellow real estate brokers, they get $100,000, $200,000, some as high as $1 million. Now, why do they get the money? Real estate's not down. Real estate's at record highs. Most of these agents are having the best year ever. So they make $1 million in commissions, but they can get another $1 million from the government. And they're not ashamed of it. They'd be a fool if they didn't take the money. They feel like they would be a fool. They would be a fool to not take the money. Look it. I have a lot of friends that feel like a fool right now. You know why? You know why? Because they've made their rent payments for the last year. They went ahead and paid their rent. They feel like a fool right now because they didn't have to pay their rent. The government will pay your rent right now. The free lunch program. The government will give you an extra $1 million if you want. Look it. The government with the PPP money, with the free rent program, with the unemployment insurance benefits, people are getting paid to stay home and sit on their butt. Now, when I was 9 or 10 years old, I didn't want to stay home and sit on my butt. I wanted to go to school. I wanted to get out with the people. I wanted to learn. I wanted to be productive. Today, no. People you're a fool if you go to work today, right? Because you could make more money sitting at home. If you're a waiter or a waitress, why go to work? Just to apply for unemployment insurance and stay at home. Look at, they give you an extra $300 in benefits. This is called the free lunch program. Now, there's even a word for it. Okay, so like many people, I know people that have over 10 homes paid for, and they still took PPP money. These are people worth $20-30 million, and they're still taking money from the government, and they even have a word for it. The word is, it's called bleeding the beast. Bleeding the beast. The government's going to squander the money anyways, so they feel that it is their duty to take the money from the government. The government being the beast, they're going to bleed this government to death until it collapses, and it will collapse. Take my word for that. Now the markets, I know, record high. It's going much higher. Why? Because this printing of money is not going to end anytime soon. Biden already has done $2 trillion in the stimulus package. He's got another $4 trillion in infrastructure, but he can't get $4 trillion all at once. So he's breaking it down to $2.3 trillion and then $2 trillion later. That's already $6 trillion. Where does the money come from? Where does it come from? Does Biden have the money? No, he has no money. But he has a printing press. He has the Federal Reserve. He says, go print. And it's just going to go on and on. It's going to go on. Now, it could break next week. Nobody knows when it's going to break. We're at $28 trillion in debt. The Federal Reserve has doubled their balance sheet to $7-8 trillion already, and they're going to double it from there. They're going to double it. As long as the Federal Reserve balance sheet keeps going up, the stock market has to keep going up. How high? Well, I think the Federal Reserve is going to double their balance sheet in the next year or two, probably this year. It's going to go from $7 trillion to $15 trillion. I believe that with all my heart. And what's that going to do to the stock market? Well, it's probably going to double the stock market, maybe from 30,000 on the Dow to, we'll call it 60,000. Okay, it's going to continue up, but it's going back and fill, but it's going to head higher. We're going higher. Now, is this free lunch program really going to work? Is this the way that we want to live in the U.S.? We don't want to work for anything. We just want to print the money, send the money to China, and let them do the work. Let them send us the stuff. Maybe that's not how I think America should be. That's not how I think it should be at all. Actually, I think that's pretty disgusting. I think it's pathetic. Those are just a couple of words I would use to describe it. Look, America's got to get back to work. We got to get off our butts. We got to stop collecting the stimulus. We got to stop collecting the free unemployment benefits. We got to stop collecting this PPP money for multimillionaires, not just millionaires, multimillionaires. We got to start paying our rent and the mortgages. We changed the Constitution so that we don't have to pay our rent and mortgages. We've become weak as a country, and this is going to hurt us. It's going to hurt us in the long run. Maybe it's going to, look, you give me $2 trillion, I can show you a good party for a while. But eventually the money runs out and the party has a hangover. It's got a big hangover. In the U.S., we're going to have such a big hangover. We've been printing money since the great financial crisis. 12 years ago, we did nothing but print money. We haven't had a good economy since then. Our economy is bet on asset bubbles inflating. So if you're not in any assets, you might want to get in them. Now, I think the stock market's high, but it's going much higher. The one I like is silver. Silver's 50% of its 1980 price, 50% off in silver. Okay, I think that's a good asset to hold because they're going to keep printing money. They're going to print and print and print. Now, this is what, again, is called the free lunch program. Now, as a 9 and 10-year-old kid, I knew that was wrong. I knew it was wrong to take the free lunch when you didn't need the free lunch, even though I needed it that day. I didn't have my lunch, but I didn't want to take someone else's lunch that really needed it. Today, there's no stimulus like that. The stimulus is the other way. You're a fool if you don't take the money. You're a fool because the government's handing it out. You have to bleed the beast. Look, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know when it's going to crash. I know we're going to keep going up as long as they keep printing money. It's called the crack up boom. We're going higher, but the economy's falling apart at the same time. Look at the homeless situation out there. It's pathetic. It should not be this way. Should not be this way. Government responsible, Federal Reserve in particular, they are the ones responsible for creating it. They have priced them out of living, priced them out. They're going to price you out. Maybe they price me out. Look at it. Can you afford $50 for a loaf of bread? It's going to happen. I promise you that. I promise you a loaf of bread is going to be $50 at some point. Look, yes, the stock market may go up, and you got to gamble right now. You have to be in the markets because they're stealing your money. They're stealing your money with inflation that's coming. It hasn't hit hard yet. Yeah, sure, maybe they call it 2%. I know it's well above 10% already, but it's going much higher. It probably hit 25% a year. That's what the money they're printing. They're printing 25% extra dollars every year. Every year, 25% new money comes in. They cannot sustain this. They cannot continue. But I do want to hear from you in the comments. Do you think it's different this time? Do you think that we can print unlimited money? Do you think that this will all end well? Do you think this can go on forever? Do you think that we can just print our way to prosperity? Let me know in the comments. I do not believe we can. People tell me it's different this time. People will tell me I'm just a boomer and don't understand how the millennials think and how we can print money forever. We'll see who's right. I don't know. So far, they've been right for 12 years. I've been wrong for 12 years. Let's keep printing the money. Let's find out if it breaks or not. I'm Tall Mike. If you like this stuff, give me that thumbs up. If you really like it, hit that subscribe button. I am a stock market gambler, and we'll talk again real soon. Bye-bye now.